She is the only woman on the FBI's top 10 most wanted list. She is responsible for one of the biggest financial scams in history. She convinced millions of people to hand over their life savings. And then she vanished. There is a $5 million reward for anyone who can find her. And yet nobody has. This is the true story of Ruja Ignatova, the crypto queen, and the billion-dollar lie called OneCoin. Chapter 1. The making of a criminal mastermind. Ruja was born in a poor Bulgarian city in 1980. When she was 10, her family fled to Germany in search of a better life. Growing up, she was exceptionally bright, but that intelligence came with a dangerous edge. She believed she was smarter than everyone around her and became obsessed with one goal: becoming a millionaire before 30. She earned a scholarship to a German university, a PhD in law, then a degree from Oxford. She landed a job at McKinsey and later moved to Bulgaria's largest investment company, where she built a powerful network of politicians and business people. But even that was not enough. She was watching wealthy clients move billions daily while she earned a salary, so she started looking for another way. Chapter 2. The meeting that started everything. In 2013, Ruja began researching Bitcoin. Her financial background made her a sought-after speaker at crypto seminars across Europe. At one event, a man named Sebastian Greenwood watched her work a crowd and introduced himself. His question changed everything. Have you ever considered multi-level marketing? Sebastian was a seasoned MLM operator who knew how to build networks of commission-based sellers that grew themselves. Ruja had the credentials and the presence. Together they had an idea: create a new cryptocurrency and sell it through an MLM structure. They would call it OneCoin, and they would tell the world it was the next Bitcoin. There was just one problem: neither of them actually knew how to build a real blockchain. Then they realized that was not a problem at all. That was the opportunity. Chapter 3. The fraud behind the fantasy. Without a real blockchain, they could simply pretend they had one. And without a real blockchain, they could set the price of OneCoin to whatever they wanted, just by updating a number in a database, a glorified spreadsheet dressed up in the language of financial revolution. To make it feel legitimate, they invented education packages. Customers bought PDFs containing basic financial information, and those packages came loaded with OneCoin tokens as a bonus. The material was poorly written and largely plagiarized. Nobody was buying it for the content. They were buying it for the coins. The MLM commission structure was generous and contagious. Sell a package, earn 10%. Recruit someone who sells a package, earn 10% of their sale too. It spread through social media and WhatsApp groups like wildfire. To sell the dream, Ruja became Dr. Ruja, trading her understated wardrobe for designer gowns and bright red lipstick. She toured the world, filling stadiums with thousands of believers. She walked on stage to Pyrotechnics and Alicia Keys. Crowds wept and cheered. She told them Bitcoin was old and complicated. OneCoin was the future. Simple, safe, and about to make them all rich. By November 2015, just 1 year after launching, OneCoin had hit $1 billion in sales. Ruja bought a luxury flat in London, a penthouse in Dubai, and a $7.5 million yacht. She stacked cash floor to ceiling in a Hong Kong apartment just to store it, and still the money kept flowing in. Chapter 4. The cracks begin to show. By mid-2016, Ruja had sold more OneCoin than she had promised could ever exist. She had told investors the supply was capped at 2.1 billion coins. But she had already blown past that number. So she held a massive event at Wembley Arena, announced a new blockchain with 120 billion coins, and told investors their existing coins would be doubled. The crowd went wild. Nobody questioned the economics. But outside, the bubble doubts were growing. A blockchain expert named Bjorn Bjerke ran a simple test, making hundreds of small transactions between his own accounts and watching OneCoin's live display to see if they appeared. None of them ever did. The live blockchain was nothing more than a random number generator creating fake transactions between fake wallets. There was no coin. There never had been. Bjorn went public with his findings. Journalists began connecting the dots. The auditing company OneCoin used was owned by Ruja herself. The Forbes magazine cover she distributed at events was a paid advertisement. She had torn off the first few pages to make it look like a cover story. Then in January 2017, OneCoin's internal exchange went down for maintenance. It never came back up. People who had sold their homes and borrowed money from relatives suddenly had no way to access anything. Many still refused to believe it. Accepting the truth meant accepting they had convinced everyone they loved to join a scam. Chapter 5. The Disappearance. Behind the scenes. Ruja had known for months that it was collapsing. She quietly moved nearly $400 million through shell companies and offshore accounts. She had also been having an affair with OneCoin's private banker, Gilbert Armenta. Growing suspicious he was deceiving her, she had his apartment bugged. The recordings confirmed her fears, but revealed something far worse. The FBI was already investigating Gilbert, and he had become an informant. Every phone call Ruja made to him was being recorded by federal agents. On October 25, 2017, Ruja Ignatova boarded an early morning Ryanair flight from Sofia, Bulgaria to Athens, Greece. She stepped into a car with some Russian-speaking men, and she was never seen again. Chapter 6. The aftermath. The damage was staggering. Estimates of total losses range from $4 billion to $15 billion. Around 3.5 million people bought into OneCoin across more than 175 countries. The vast majority lost everything. Sebastian Greenwood was eventually arrested and sentenced to 20 years in prison. Ruja's own brother Konstantin, whom she had hired specifically to use as a fall guy, was also arrested and sentenced to 20 years. But Ruja herself remains free. Chapter 7. Where is she now? The FBI has offered $5 million for information leading to her capture. Interpol has issued a red notice. Nothing confirmed. One theory says she was killed, that a Bulgarian crime boss who had backed OneCoin and lost a fortune ordered a hit and her body was thrown into the Mediterranean. Another theory says she is living on a private yacht in international waters, funded by the hundreds of millions she moved before disappearing, and possibly by 230,000 Bitcoin, received through a Saudi royal connection, now worth approximately $20 billion. A third theory says she changed her face and her name and is living quietly on land, possibly in Dubai, where she already owned property before she vanished. Whatever the truth, the most extraordinary detail in this entire story is this. Ruja built her empire by calling herself the Bitcoin killer. And yet if she is alive today, she may be one of the largest Bitcoin holders on Earth and one of the wealthiest criminals in history. The crypto queen is still out there, somewhere.